happened there?
The state of Minnesota that we live in, and these politicians are just walking off, thinking it's okay Tuesday, and they want to go visit the Trump. They want to blame the Trump administration. We have Democrats blaming ICE. I'm tired. My people are suffering.
Band fire.
Infamous, show us that you're black again.
He said, show us that you're black again. Show us that you're black again.
Bro, I don't need it. Bro, I'm not in a zoo, man.
Show us that you're black again.
Like I'm some kind of
I'm scared for my little brother. My people are suffering, and these people just walk off. We have a governor who...
By attacking Canada again. He's...
Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama as monkeys. The clip is contained claims a graphic questioning President Joe Biden's win in Pennsylvania in the 2020 presidential election. However, at the 59-second mark, an AI-generated image of Obama's face superimposed onto a monkey's body and suddenly appears as the song "The Lion Sleeps Tonight," and then it quickly goes back to the video. So it's like a small little snippet of it, of them being monkeys.
That's bad. Oh, don't play the full clip, bro.
Hold on, bro. And this monkey's flying.
They got
Timon and Pumbaa. Oh, this is like Lion King.
Yeah, the donkey.
She's an ass.
This shit is crazy.
Wow.
Oh, they got Joe Monkey too. Joe Monkey too.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is some crazy work. Joe Biden doing the unthinkable to a banana. Where's the outrage videos for Joe Biden, ladies and gentlemen? They want to talk about the Obamas on top of the ape. Okay, you could have put the Obamas and got your point across if you would have put the body as a snake. Because let's keep it a being. Come on now. You knew controversy, but let's also keep it a being. Trump did not make this video, ladies and gentlemen. Stop believing the cap. The president does a lot of crazy work, but he did not make this video. He did repost it, but he did not make it. But why is there no content creators making videos about Joe Biden doing the unthinkable to this banana? It's all about the Baracks, right? Obama on top of this gorilla. I do understand he could have put it on snakes. Snakes would have got the point across. He did not have to put it on a gorilla's body. Nevertheless, it's some crazy work.
They got Kamala as a turtle.
Bro, why did he eat the banana like that?
Wow.
Oh, he alive.
He's the king of the jungle.
Oh, she a pig.
God.
Oh my goodness.
You know she lives in Houston?
She lives in Houston?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Bruh.
Is that Harry?
That's Harry.
We all know
She's a hippo.
Trump didn't actually make the video, y'all, but he did drop it. He seen it. He seen it. Wow.
President not managed well, like in Africa at the current, a $100 billion bill, $100 billion bill in Zimbabwe is worth 1 American cent. That's the perfect example of hyperinflation. It goes up, it doubles every day. So people are afraid that their value in the system starts to break down. But so if I said to you, does your doctor understand your body system? You'd say, well, I hope so, because I want him to keep me healthy. But you could have a kidney infection, you could have a heart attack, you could have a broken knee. There's lots of pieces of this system. And in fact, when you ask the question, very few doctors understand your entire body. There's a specialist for your knee, there's a specialist for your polynoidal cyst, there's a specialist for your head, and now we have specialists in different areas. So, and I'm going to get to your first.
That's bad.
This is bad. Oh, no, play the full clip, bro.
Hold on, bro. And this monkey's flying in.
So this is once again, Trump did not make this video, ladies and gentlemen, but this is supposed to replicate The Lion King. To give my criticism, there was no flying monkeys in The Lion King. Why is there flying? This is not the Wizard of Oz. Where did flying monkeys come from?
That's bad.
Flying monkeys?
That's bad.
Yo, imagine in 2026, you're seeing, I can't say black because they're not truly black if you want to keep it a stack, but still, if you get pulled over, you're still an African American. So minorities, imagine in 2026, you don't know what's going on. For the ones that could care less about politics, right? And you hear the news that the Obamas is on top of gorillas. Now, should you take offense? Should you be offended by this image, ladies and gentlemen? Because if you watch the whole length of the video, they're trying to expose the Democratic Party. It's not just the Obamas, but why coincidentally the Obamas is on top of gorillas? They could have been on snakes. They could have been on a snail. They could have been on a Toucan Sam head ass. But they are on top of apes? Let's go back into the content.
Oh, no, play the full clip, bro.
Hold on, bro. And this monkey's flying in.
Here, right here, ladies and gentlemen, we have Hillary Clinton as a warhog.
They got
they Timon and Pumbaa. Oh, this is like Lion King.
You have that woman to the right. We got her name. Let me know in the chat what's her name. The donkey.
Yeah, the donkey.
She's an ass.
Crazy.
Wow.
Oh.
Here we have Kamala Harris as a turtle. And Joe Biden as a baboon or some type of monkey species.
I be trying to laugh with the bros.
Oh, they got Joe a monkey too.
Pause. That's some crazy work. Why is Joe Biden doing the unthinkable to this banana, bruh? I'm gonna have to keep it YouTube friendly because YouTube took one of my lives down. Shout out to YouTube, awesome platform, but we're gonna have to be very careful of our choice of words. Why is Joe Biden doing the unthinkable to this banana, ladies and gentlemen? The outrage for the Obamas. All the content creators are making video about Obama, dressed up as a monkey, right? What about where's the smoke for Joe Biden? Now, if no other monkey was displayed throughout this cartoon, Joe Biden, is this racist, ladies and gentlemen? Joe Biden as a Caucasian Sleepy Joe falling down on stairs, Sleepy Joe. Hold on, YouTube. Hold on. Shout out to YouTube. Hold on now. Let's just move on from this scene, ladies and gentlemen. We got to move on. Crazy word.
I be trying to laugh with the bros.
We got to move on.
They got Kamala as a turtle.
Bro, why did he eat the banana like that?
Wow.
Oh, he alive.
He's the king of the jungle.
Oh, she a
my
pig.
God.
Oh my.
Yo. Everybody got smoked, but yet the outrage is for Obama. What about the other politicians? Joe Biden, there should be a riot for Joe Biden. Where the Joe Biden fans at? Y'all only want to stand up for Obama, but not Joe. Joe was your president. Then he resigned. Who resigns?
Goodness.
You know she lives in Houston?
She lives in Houston?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Bruh.
Is that Harry?
That's
All right,
Harry.
we
Look
all
at
know
Whoopi. She's a hippo.
Trump didn't actually make the video, y'all, but he did drop it. He seen it. He seen it. Wow.
Tell me you're not guilty without telling me. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an outrage. We all should be making content exposing what's going on because, ladies and gentlemen, this is not just any victim. These are kids getting mistreated and being exposed. But yet there's distraction all over the place, such as the Obamas dressed up as a monkey. That's a major distraction. The main focus should be on exposing what is going on. These kids was doing what? We can't even say that on YouTube. Hold on, YouTube. Hold on. Hold on, YouTube. They already took one of my videos down. We're going to have to keep it YouTube friendly. Shout out to YouTube. Oh, no. Ladies and gentlemen, you can do whatever you want to do, but I'm going to speak in code. Do not put anything in your body that is not natural. We're going to leave it right there. He said, doesn't work. I've been Googling it if I go back to my hotel. Oh, my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your take on the situation, ladies and gentlemen. We have to expose what's going on. We have to. It's our duty. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I do not know Spanish. I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I took the best nap on that Sunday afternoon. I'll be charged. Sports is not the same. I'm not about to watch no Patriots against no Seattle Seahawks. Now, respect to the Seahawks, but come on now. Now, I did watch the replay of the halftime show. I didn't understand a single word Bad Bunny was talking about. And prior to the Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't really on a high to watch the halftime show because Bad Bunny, just to keep it YouTube friendly, he has a certain narrative that he pushes. He pushes a certain agenda. We're gonna have to keep it YouTube friendly. So I was happy he didn't, come out on a Super Bowl pushing that agenda. Nevertheless, Spanish speakers, they said that 50% of what Bad Bunny was saying was all gibberish. He wasn't even saying that. Also, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep it a spade. We know that the NFL doesn't do anything on accident. And also, Jay-Z, he purposely puts whoever on the stage in these halftime shows. So this was all directed, all planned out. What message was they trying to push? Was this a fight back towards ICE? Then I saw some clips of Bad Bunny terrified for his life after he was done with his performance. Hold on, YouTube. Hold on. Allegedly, hold on, YouTube. We're gonna have to keep it YouTube friendly. Let's go back to the content, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all for being in the building. Let me know your take on the situation. Yo, once again, I didn't understand a word he was saying. I don't speak Spanish, but I was reading. Bad Bunny wasn't even saying nothing. Like, it's one thing if he's speaking in a different language, nobody can understand you. You're going to have people frustrated. It is what it is. But at least have a message in your lyrics. You know what I mean? Like, this is your opportunity to show the world your culture. So let the words be meaningful. But they're talking about he was speaking nonsense? That's some crazy work. And also, I saw another clip where people actually at the Super Bowl, they didn't even get to see the actual performance. They televised the halftime show just to entertain the viewers, but in reality, it was trash. Making the whole halftime show look like a little Puerto Rico. They couldn't see between those bushes. Crazy work. For the Spanish speakers in the comments, let me know what Bad Bunny was saying. They were saying he was talking nonsense. He wasn't even saying nothing with substance.
I be trying to laugh with the bros.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to talk about halftime shows, the best halftime show is the one that took my innocence away. And that's the famous Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake. I didn't even comprehend what football was. I know it was something, but when it came down to the halftime show, I was watching it, and that transpired. You know, Justin Timberlake decided in his right mind to pull a strap off of Janet Jackson, a strap that's full of buttons, as if that's not going to be. I digress. Imagine, as a kid, you're super innocent and you see something like that on the screen. What? Man, I was like, this is football? I'm turning back. I'm looking at my family members
I be
like,
trying to laugh with the bros, but
yo. They were speechless. My family didn't even address what happened. I just saw Janet Jackson exposed, and they didn't break it down to me like, yo, it was a wardrobe malfunction, things happen, that's why you need to be careful, this, that, and the third. You know, explain to me what happened. They just moved on. They left me hanging with my intrusive thoughts as a young lad.
I be trying to laugh with the bros, but
How many more people are gonna freaking die?
This is bad. Oh, no, play the full clip, bro.
Hold on, bro. And this monkey's flying.
They
Oh,
got
they Timon and Pumbaa. Oh, this is like Lion King.
yeah, the donkey.
She's an ass.
This shit is crazy.
Wow.
Oh, they got Joe a monkey too.
Pause.
I be trying to laugh with the bros, but
Ladies and gentlemen, is this considered racist? Please let me know. In 2026, we're witnessing the Baracks on top of monkeys, and the president reposted it. So he said that he did not watch the video. Whose fault is it? The person that put the video on there, but nothing is done on accident.
It's fucking straight, right? You niggas is on social media all day, every day, being utterly fucking useless to do what? Fill a void? Is it a short dopamine addiction or something? What is up? Because we got ICE off in motherfuckers. We got EPSTEIN files out right now, and then as I speak, they are actively redacting files that have been released. They are literally removing files that they released right now. We got screenshots of niggas searching specific terms on the justice.gov website, showing X amount of results, then they put the same term into the search bar the next day and it's got fewer results. So not only do these niggas protect gay rapist pedophiles by redacting the names and the emails and all of these files, but they're actively removing the whole entire files. And you bitch niggas, like house niggas do, are just standing on the sideline acting normal. You bitch niggas, or you house niggas I should say, you bitch house niggas. This is the most pussified fucking era of so-called Christians and Americans I've ever fucking seen in my life. You niggas are legit on Facebook talking about zodiac signs. You niggas are on Instagram sharing bullshit on your stories. You niggas is not even posting, you're not making any content on Instagram, yet you're on it every day, all day, just death scrolling. You're on TikTok all day, every day, death scrolling, yet you don't make any content, you don't make any money on it. You could at the very fucking least make yourself useful to some degree by at least spreading awareness to the ICE and the Epstein files. The ICE situation, the Epstein files, matter of fact, there was just a video that came out of Trump telling a reporter she's a bad reporter for asking about the sexual assault victims. She asked about the victims in the Epstein files, and you know what this bitch ass nigga does? Deflects, lies,
Trump posted a
and says
video
that
that
the people
includes a
should move
racist
on.
meme depicting
From the
former
Epstein
President Obama and his wife Michelle as apes. Now the Senate's only black Republican senator is responding and calling out the White House. ABC's Jay O'Brien's here with more on that. Hi, Jay, what's the latest?
Yeah, Diane, just moments ago, the video was deleted from President Trump's account, and it comes after a growing chorus of Republican lawmakers called on the White House to take the racist image down, including, as you say, Senator Tim Scott, who posted the image in addition to his post. ABC is not showing the image, but we are showing you the post, and it says, quote, praying it was fake because it's the most racist thing I've seen out of this White House. The president should remove it. The racist image comes at the end of a minute-long video the president posted on his social media platform. The first 59 seconds describe debunk election conspiracy theories from 2020, and at the end, the video suddenly cuts to an animated meme showing the Obamas' faces on the bodies of apes. The NAACP is out with a statement saying, in part, quote, Donald Trump's video is blatantly racist, disgusting, and utterly despicable, end quote. That again from the NAACP. Images of black people as apes have been used throughout American history to dehumanize them. Slave traders and segregationists use these types of images to depict black people as inferior, and at times it's led to violence. Initially, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a statement, quote, this is from an internet meme depicting President Trump as the king of the jungle and Democrats as characters from The Lion King. Please stop the fake outrage and report on something today that actually matters to the American public, end quote. But again, since that statement, the video now appears to have been deleted, and the White House is now saying from an anonymous staffer, quote, that they erroneously made the post.
Reposting a racist meme is not an excuse for posting something racist, the fact that it was a meme. Second, he only posted the part of that meme video that featured the Obamas, not any other part of it. Third, one does have to wonder about the worldview of the meme maker, given that there are no apes in The Lion King. For those wondering, Rafiki's a mandrill.
When you saw this image, if we can put it up, it's an awful image of the Obamas that the president put out. According to Sam Stein, it has been the White House has taken it down. But your thoughts?
I saw some people arguing, do you think that he really posted this? Do you think, yeah, of course I think he really posted that. Your default position should not be maybe he didn't. Your default position should be to understand why he definitely did. There's a lot of people that say Donald Trump ushered in this new age of white supremacy, that Donald Trump ushered in hate and all this stuff. And that's not true. Hate ushered in Donald Trump. White supremacy ushered in Donald Trump.
The idea that anyone would post a video like that, let alone the president of the United States, someone who's supposed to find ways to bring us together, someone who's supposed to appeal to our better angels, this guy seems to always find a lower and lower common denominator. Here in Pennsylvania, we respect all people, no matter what they look like, where they come from, who they love, who they pray to, who they choose not to pray to. We don't scapegoat others, and we certainly don't peddle in racist videos and other racist statements like this president has made. He needs to do better, and I think the good people of Pennsylvania recognize that. You know, we're a Commonwealth that was founded by William Penn as a place that would be warm and welcoming for all. I take it very seriously, and I know the elected leaders take it very seriously here, that we be a place that is welcoming for all. And the president's conduct, once again, unfortunately, erodes that, but we're not going to let him win on that. We're going to appeal to our better angels, and we're going to do the right thing here. And we're not going to get sucked down into the depths that this president seems to reach for each day.
So, again, I just want you guys to understand. I am not like some of these other people, right? Some of these Republicans, including black Republicans, black conservatives, whatever, that's going to come out here and say, oh, what the president posted was racist. He needs to apologize. This is not a good look. Right? Nah, that's not me. It's not me.
I think we haven't seen The Lion King. There are no apes in The Lion King. There's not one ape. There's a baboon, Rafiki. He is actually central to the story. But there's not one ape in the movie. So let's just be for real right now. There's not an ape in The Lion King. So I would have never put out a statement like that. The one time somebody thought the person I worked for did say something that was racist and inhumane, I went to my principal and encouraged the principal to apologize and explain to them why what they said was problematic, okay? So Eugene, I cannot grasp this. This is the last thing I'll say. It is not racist because it is offensive. It is offensive because it is inherently racist. The trope about depicting black people as animals goes all the way back to white Europeans looking for a justification for colonization and the enslavement of African people. And it gained prominence in the 1700s and 1800s, and it became a racial, like a scientific theory. I'm using air quotes. And it was a mainstream theory that put a hierarchy that said white Europeans were at the top and Africans were at the bottom, and apes, depiction of apes was very central to this theory. They were at the bottom. They were closer to primitive beings such as apes. Therefore, black people, specifically in that time, Africans, were more better suited for forced labor and domination. So it is racist because the root of this theory, this trope, this joke, okay, that the White House is talking about, is rooted in the ability to dominate, rape, pillage, and inflict violence upon black people.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we gotta talk about the latest fake outrage from the left over a meme.
After a growing minute-long video the president posted on his social media platform. The first 59 seconds describe debunk election conspiracy theories from 2020, and at the end, the video suddenly cuts to an animated meme showing the Obamas' faces on the bodies of apes. The NAACP is out with a statement saying, in part, quote, Donald Trump's video is blatantly racist, disgusting, and utterly despicable, end quote. That again from the NAACP. Images of black people as apes have been used throughout American history to dehumanize them. Slave traders and segregationists use these types of images to depict black people as inferior, and at times it's led to violence. Initially, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a statement, quote, this is from an internet meme depicting President Trump as the king of the jungle and Democrats as characters from The Lion King. Please stop the fake outrage and report on something today that actually matters to the American public, end quote. But again, since that statement, the video now appears to have been deleted, and the White House is now saying from an anonymous staffer, quote, that they erroneously made the post.
Million pages of records related to their Jeffrey Epstein investigations. This massive data dump, which includes everything from emails to vacation photos, was intended to be the final word on a scandal that has lingered over the global establishment like a particularly persistent bad smell. The files read like a who's who of the people who run the world. We have 2 US presidents, a rotating cast of British and European royals, and almost every significant name in business, law, and high finance. Many people who claimed that they only had tangential relationships with Epstein were shown to be a lot closer than they had admitted. It would appear that the tech elites had to invent AI chatbots to replace Epstein, but while he was alive, he seems to have been the person they turned to get their questions answered. The release of these
We did it in my first year, so it's great. President, would you apologize for that racist video?
All right, President Trump.
The president is now insisting he did not make a mistake after that blatantly racist video was posted on his own social media account, and the president is now claiming that he did not see the part of the video that depicted former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama as apes. The president's comments coming after an avalanche of backlash over the video that was posted late Thursday night. But at first, the White House press secretary defended the president's post, saying, please stop the fake outrage. But the criticism only grew from there, including from Republican leaders who rarely disagree with President Trump on anything. For instance, Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, the Senate's only black Republican, called Trump's post the most racist thing I've seen out of this White House. Congressman Mike Turner of Ohio called the post offensive, heartbreaking, and unacceptable. Then about 12 hours after the video was posted, it was taken down. After that, a White House official told ABC News that a White House staffer erroneously made the post, but Gio, the press secretary, has not walked back her defense of the racist image, and the president is not apologizing.
All right, Selena, thank you so much for your reporting there.
Boy, who comes in and you want to eat ice cream with him, right? Well, I think what that
Pause.
episode in our country's history showed us is that we really need some fumigation, right? We need a exorcism, for lack of a better term. We need a more aggressive approach to go in and surgically remove the cancer that is the Donald Trump and MAGA movement.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Well, you got the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and nice-looking guy.
Biden recalling his early Senate career, bringing up two segregationist senators, Herman Talmadge and James Eastland, who called African Americans an inferior race. I was in a caucus with James O. Eastland, Biden said. He never called me boy. He always called me son. At least there was some civility. We got things done.
The senators that he is speaking of with such adoration are individuals who made and built their reputation on segregation. The Ku Klux Klan celebrated the election of one of them.
Using the word boy in the way he did can cause hurt and pain, and we need a presidential nominee and the leader of our party to be sensitive to that.
My Democratic colleagues don't like me saying this. I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro, good for the black. Other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind a little bit.
As also noted, Robert C. Byrd was a parliamentary library, a keeper of the institution of the Senate, and he was the institution itself. For a lot of us, he was a friend, and he was a mentor, and he was a guide.
1987, he bragged about getting an award from George Wallace.
Biden bragged about an award from the notorious segregationist Governor George Wallace and told the Philadelphia Inquirer, "I think the Democratic Party could stand a liberal George Wallace, someone who's not afraid to stand up and offend people."
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Biden was remarking to an audience in South Virginia that included hundreds of black voters.
If Haiti just quietly sunk into the Caribbean or rose up 300 feet, it wouldn't matter a whole lot.
The reason I was able to stay sequestered in my home is because some black woman was able to stack the grocery shelf.
One thing Biden is being slammed for is the crime bill he helped write 25 years ago that many critics say resulted in mass incarceration, especially of young African-American men.
Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing.
It did contribute to mass incarceration in our country.
There's about 100,000 of them, if you want to be rhetorically extreme about it, who are the predators. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. We have no choice but to take them out of society.
First son Hunter Biden repeatedly called his white attorney the N-word.
He's a grown man. He is the smartest man I know.
Hunter Biden reportedly wrote to his attorney, quote, "How much money do I owe you because..."
How much money do I owe you? Because N-word, you better not be charging me Hennessy rates. That made me snarl for my coffee. Yo, that's how they talk to each other, ladies and gentlemen. That's crazy work.
N-word, you better not be charging me Hennessy rates. In another message, Biden began a text to his attorney with OMG N-word, and Biden responded at one point with true that N-word.
One chapter receiving fresh scrutiny comes from his earliest years in the Senate, when he strongly opposed mandatory school busing. It was designed to achieve integration and a more equitable education. What's less known is how he followed the lead of some of the Senate's most fervent segregationists.
Working with segregationists on an anti-busing agenda is very scary.
1977, Biden worried that his children would grow up in a, quote, racial, his words, jungle if integration is not done in a, quote, orderly way, whatever that means.
I guess one thing that is interesting to me is we never heard Biden criticized, and he eulogized a KKK recruiter, Senator Byrd. He said some kind of insane racist things like poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. He didn't want his children growing up in a racial jungle. So you're talking
about
president.
that's what Byrd said?
No, that was what Biden said. So he was president for 4 years.
Okay, this is the problem with American politics.
About that.
Actually, you did. As someone who worked on the Biden campaign, black people were very critical of what Joe Biden did around the '94 crime bill, and it's
far more recently.
But here's the thing.
He said in that election, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Guess what?
And you know what? Joe Biden is not the president anymore, right? And part of what is the outcome is when people say things, there are consequences. We are not talking about Joe Biden. We are talking about on February 6th, 2026, in the year of our Lord and Savior, Donald Trump retweeted the former first black president of the United States, first black first lady of the United States. And did you watch the opening I did? He retweeted them or retruthed them or whatever he does as apes. Full stop. I don't care what Joe Biden said. Demand more from your president.
Absolutely.
Have the moral courage to demand
Arthur's point,
more.
He withdrew it, right? Number one. And number two,
He didn't
actually lied about it. Okay, but just
he didn't apologize, though. He didn't apologize. A withdrawal and an apology are not the same thing.
So people who didn't see it know, he didn't create this video. It
doesn't matter.
No, it absolutely does matter. If he sat there and he said, let me make these people look like this, that's a big difference. That matters. Okay, I'm going to respectfully disagree that it would matter if he thought about it. Let me answer.
And, worth noting also, the president had an opportunity today to say something about it. He didn't, okay? So next, should Trump supporters own his bad behavior? One vote doesn't reflect on, if you are a Trump supporter and it doesn't matter to you that he is trafficking in racist tropes. Does that reflect back on you?
If you were a Menendez supporter, who got convicted of bribes.
In a really ugly incident we saw in Minnesota, protesters called an ICE officer the N-word.
Those protesters are not the president of the United States.
Do leftists have to own that?
That was unacceptable too.
I don't think that leftists have to own that. I don't think that Republicans have to own.
He is the president. That's important fact here. He is the president.
Wow, amazing. Absolutely amazing. The mental gymnastics are just fascinating, right? It's very entertaining to watch, okay? I want you guys to understand, when it comes to Biden,
to post a racist post about, well,
who was literally a segregationist, okay? A segregationist. This is the same guy that liberals blame for locking up all those black people, which apparently was the worst thing in the world to actually, hold black people accountable for crimes, right? Terrible, absolutely terrible racism from Joe Biden. The same guy that claimed that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. He eulogized a Klansman, right? Like, when people bring up the fact that the media didn't care that much about that, they didn't talk about Biden's racism during his 4 years in office, apparently that's irrelevant, right? Apparently that doesn't matter. When Democrat voters say, hey, we're going to vote for segregationists, a guy that, again, was not for busing, right? Kamala Harris called him out on stage at the Democrat Party debate for being a racist and also a sexual abuser, right? Sexual assaulter as well, too, right? Gotta vote me, too. Democrats, yeah, you know what? We're going to hold our nose and vote for him anyways, right? But they want to lecture us on a meme, right, that was accidentally posted by the president, right? Amazing, absolutely amazing. And then when you bring up the fact that, hey, you have liberal lunatics who are running around calling ICE agents, black ICE agents, the N-word, well, apparently that doesn't matter either, right? That's not newsworthy to CNN, okay? Oh, well, they're not the president, right? It's like, well, again, the president accidentally posted a meme. Okay, let's talk about some actual, racism, or what the left would consider to be racism, from liberals, right? No, we don't want to talk about that. But we all know that if Trump supporters invaded a abortion center or whatever and started calling the doctors, the black nurses, N-words, right? We know that would be front page news on CNN, and they'd be saying, hey, is this a reflection of, all Trump supporters, right? Is this a reflection of the base, right? The racist MAGA base. This is what they would be saying, right? But let a white liberal multiple times on camera call a black ICE officer an N-word. Well, see, they're not the president. So, hey, I guess it don't matter, right? It's not worth talking about. The hypocrisy is stunning. I personally just don't give a damn, right? I don't think that the president is racist, okay? But these people think that the president is racist no matter what. They're just using this to confirm their belief. So there's no point in even arguing with these people about it. Because it's really about politics, not racism. Because they don't give a damn about racism from the left. They don't care about these white liberals running around calling these black officers the N-word. They don't care about that. They don't care about voting for a segregationist, okay? For, somebody who locked up all these black people, which, again, they claim was the worst thing ever to happen to black folks. They don't care about that, right? All they care about is politics, right? And they're already convinced in their minds that Trump is a racist, and there's nothing that anybody can say to convince them otherwise, so there's no point, right? But see, here's the reality of the Democrat Party, right? Democrats run around and act like they're not racist, but at the end of the day, when it comes to how they operate, they certainly have feelings about black folks that if you actually listen to them, hey, I think that it's very clear that they do operate on what they would consider to be racist stereotypes, especially when you talk about getting votes. Like, for example, James Carville here in his interview said something that, again, if a Trump supporter said, if a Republican or a conservative said, would go viral, right? It would be a very viral clip that the news media would be talking about and say, hey, is this racism? Is this really what Republicans think about black folks? Listen to this guy talk about what Democrats need to do in 2028 in order to win the black vote with white guys. Listen to this.
Who is the Democrat that you see who can carry the flag into 2028? Kamala Harris?
No.
AOC?
No.
Rahm Emanuel?
To win the Democratic nomination, you have to ask yourself two really important questions. One, can you raise a lot of early money? The second question you have to ask yourself, who can walk into a black fish fry in South Carolina, a black church? Now, they can be nice. They're very polite people.
Yeah.
But who is going to get them to hum and sway? If I had to say one guy, if I were like betting the Kentucky Derby and I saw this 12-1 horse and I said, yeah, I want to get a price, I'd take J.B. Pritzker.
Really? Why?
Well,
not Kamala Harris? She's black.
She has no chance.
Why not?
Because no Democrat wants anything to do with anybody that had anything to do with 2024.
So Kamala Harris can't get the black community to sway and hum?
No, they're not. No. And the other thing is, and this is the best news for Democrats that a party can possibly have.
Yeah.
Just win. They don't. If we nominate two white males, no one's going to give a shit.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, again, if a Republican strategist, a famous Republican strategist had said something like that, again, it will be viral. They'd be talking about it on the news. What this dude, James Carville, is saying out loud is that, hey, in order to appeal to these Negroes, we got to get them to sway and hum. We got to show it to a fish fry with some KFC, right? with some fried chicken, and we got to get them to sway and hum. What is he really saying? What he's saying is that we got to appeal to their emotions, right? We don't need to talk policy. We don't need to sit down and have an intellectual conversation with them. We have to appeal to their emotions, right? We have to pander to them in ways that we feel black Americans are going to support us, right? Again, he would never say that about any other community. He'd never say that about any other community, right? But he's saying that about black people because he's letting you know in his mind what Democrats believe they need to do in order to win over black folks, right? They need to put on a show. Because, them Negroes, they don't respond to, academic conversations, intellectualism, nothing like that, right? Policy. No, they respond to feelings, right? Fish fries, fried chicken, collards, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, this past election with Kamala Harris was an embarrassment. How they going to have Megan Thee Stallion twerking on stage? Twerking it, throwing it back. They was making a mockery out of the black community. Like, who were they trying to attract? The people in Section 8?
Rap, okay? Booty shaking, twerking, right? Y'all saw what Kamala did when she basically started her campaign, had Megan Thee Stallion shaking ass. I think that was the first rally in
How are you gonna have Megan Thee Stallion shaking ass, throwing it back, in a What does that have to do with anything about politics? Megan Thee Stallion shaking ass. Yo, free Tory Lanez. This man wants to expose what's going on, and now he almost had his life removed, unalived behind bars. That's gonna be for another video. But once again, that Democratic Party this past election was a joke. At least fight back. Fight back with actual policies. What you gonna do for the people? But you wanna put Megan Thee Stallion and entertain the black folks as if Megan Thee Stallion is the spokesperson for blacks? How degrading. So you could have picked anybody, but you chose Megan Thee Stallion as if she's a spokesperson for blacks. Stop the cap. And you want me to vote for you. Like you're trying to win my vote, right? But you got Megan Thee Stallion twerking. How am I going to respect anything of what you're talking about? Come on now.
What, Atlanta? That's what they believe. That's what they believe. That is what they believe about black people. But I'm supposed to be mad about President Trump accidentally posted some meme with Barack Obama and Michelle Obama is apes and monkeys, right? No, right? I'm just not going to be, right? I'm not going to be because these people don't care. The same people who are outraged right now don't care when it's a Democrat, when it's one of their own engaging in what they consider to be racist behavior. They don't care. They don't care, okay? They appeal to black folks in the most stereotypically racist ways possible, as you just saw there. And again, look who they voted for. Look who they voted. They voted for Joe Biden, an actual segregationist, right? But I'm supposed to be mad about a meme. Come on, get out of here. Again, the president should not apologize. I'm glad he did not apologize. I would lose respect for him if he apologized. There's nothing to apologize for. He didn't do anything wrong. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the mainstream liberal media, this is fake outrage. So let them fake outrage. Move on, right? Who cares? They're gonna think that he's a racist.
In his name, this racist video that was posted on your social media.
You're doing a hell of a lot better than you do. You don't know what's going on. I know what's going on. No, Joe Biden didn't have a clue, but we know everything. And when you look at what's happening with our economy, and think of it, we're way years ahead of schedule. We have thousands and thousands of businesses being built right now. So Joe Biden had no clue. If Joe Biden were elected, or if Kamala were elected, we wouldn't have a country right now.
You won the election because of minority voters. Does this post maybe hurt Republicans with, black voters after the...
I think, look, we did criminal justice reform. I did the historically black colleges and universities. I got them funded. Nobody has been, and that's why I got the highest vote with male black voters that they've seen in many, many decades. I've done great with the black voters. Have been great to me. I've been great to them. Black voters have been great to me. I've been great to them. And I am, by the way, the least racist president you've had in a long time, as far as I'm concerned. We have, I've had a great relation. Think of what I've done. Criminal justice reform. Nobody else could do it. Obama couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. Clinton couldn't do it. They actually went the other way. They went into a very bad thing for African American people, black people. They went to it. They did very bad things. I did very good things. But criminal justice reform, and then I funded the universities, which nobody else was willing to do. They were going every year. They'd come back to Washington and they'd be begging for money, begging. I got to be friendly with some of the heads of the schools, and they would come back and they would literally tell me they're forcing us to beg. I'm the one that got them long-term financing and more than they were looking for. So there's nobody that's done more. And I think maybe more than anything else was criminal justice reform. They've been trying to get it for years, and I'm the one that got it done. So nobody can tell me about that. That somebody posts a staffer, post, and I knew it was all about. If you take a look at that and see the whole thing, it was a small section at the very end, but that was about fraudulent elections, which we have a lot of them. We're going to get it stopped. And I liked the beginning. I saw it and just passed it on. And I guess probably nobody reviewed the end of it, because what I saw at the beginning was really, really strong. It was about fraudulent elections. And anytime I see that stuff, and when it's credible, you put it up. But somebody slipped and missed a very small part. Now, by the way, again, the takeoff one, I guess, I didn't do it, by the way. This was done by somebody else. This was a retruth. That was not done by us. But that was a very strong truth. It was a very strong statement made about the fraudulent elections in a certain part of our country, which are really bad.
President, at the very least, do you condemn the racist parts of the video?
Of course I do. Yeah.
was once again a total mess. It's worth noting that unlike Jeffrey Epstein's parties, to open the files you had to confirm that you were over the age of 18. On the first day of the release, the DOJ website featured a convenient download all button that allowed journalists to grab the entire data set all at once. Once the department realized that people were actually using it, that button was removed, replaced by a system that requires you to download files one by one. Files have been appearing and disappearing. If you read a document and didn't save it, there was a good chance that when you went back later, it would be gone. A document known as EPSTEIN 0166067, which contained a list of unverified FBI tips about the US president, briefly became the most famous PDF on the internet before it was scrubbed from the site the next morning. As of this recording, it has not been re-uploaded. The DOJ later explained that they were rectifying redaction errors, so maybe it'll reappear soon. The first big scandal to break was about Bill Gates, where we learned about a more practical side to his relationship with Epstein. In 2 frantic typo-ridden emails that Epstein sent to his own inbox in 2013, he appeared to suggest that Mr. Gates contracted an STD from Russian girls and asked Jeffrey to get him antibiotics so that he could secretly give them to his then-wife Melinda. Epstein also claimed to have provided Adderall to Gates for his bridge tournaments. Gates has denied these claims, saying that they are the work of a disgruntled liar who was upset at being cut off. If it's true, though, it's a damning indictment of the way the American healthcare system works, where even one of the wealthiest men in the world couldn't get a doctor's appointment and had to go to a convicted sex offender for his basic healthcare needs. I wonder if Warren Buffett, Gates's bridge partner, found it frustrating having to listen to him talking at a mile a minute all hopped up on speed. We'll never know. Despite all of the headlines, this wasn't by any means a full release. The DOJ said that they had over 6 million pages of records, but they've only handed over about 3.5 million. The missing records include bank and brokerage records, along with communications with foreign governments, and basically the things that people were actually looking for. Lawmakers have pointed out that the law forbids redacting files just to avoid reputational harm or due to political sensitivity. The DOJ seems to have treated those guidelines as mere suggestions. The redactions themselves are, frankly, bizarre. In many cases, the same document has been uploaded multiple times with completely different redactions each time. We've seen instances where a case number is blacked out in one version but visible in another, and the only thing that was supposed to be redacted was victim names. My personal favorite was the decision in one file to redact the JP from JP Morgan, presumably to protect the privacy of a multi-billion-dollar investment bank that has been a household name for over a century. On top of that, there's the sheer sloppiness of the work. The New York Times and the AP found that the Department of Justice had accidentally released unredacted photos of victims, including some who had never come forward publicly. Once they were informed about their mistake, they pulled those files, but it's a bit rich to hear the government talk about protecting victims while they're busy publishing their private photos to a global audience, while blacking out the names of Epstein's suspected co-conspirators. The law also stated that every redaction had to come with a written justification. So far, those explanations are nowhere to be found. Instead, we still have entire 100-page files that are just solid black blocks. Even for documents held back for national security purposes, the DOJ was supposed to provide unclassified summaries, another requirement that appears to have been filed in the same place they keep the download all button. This doesn't actually feel like a true effort at transparency. As a comment on one of my earlier videos said, "Oh no, they're finding needles. Quick, add more hay." Sometimes it can be a struggle to find time to learn new things, but today's sponsor, Brilliant.org, makes it easy to learn with continuing threat, she was ordered to stop her investigation and begin plea negotiations. The result was the infamous sweetheart deal overseen by Alex Acosta, which not only gave Epstein a few months in a county jail, but also provided blanket immunity to any potential co-conspirators, essentially turning the US Justice Department into a private security firm for Epstein's entire social network. You might look at this deal and think, well, I guess this happened because he was really politically connected. He was good friends with Bill Clinton at this point in time. He had visited Clinton in the White House, and they'd been jet-setting around the world for close to a decade by then. That doesn't really add up, however. As connected as Epstein was, he wouldn't have been nearly as connected as Dennis Hastert was.
Santa Fe Institute. The world economy and your body are both comprised of little systems interacting with each other and making one big system.
You expect, this is what's stunning for all the little guys out there, the populist movement, the little guys that haven't had a pay raise in 30 years. They think that these elites, you know, have everything. They're the guys in the room making the decisions, the party of Davos guys. You're sitting there, you don't think many people today really understand the complexity and really all the moving pieces and how they interconnect to the world's financial system.
No, not only don't they understand the complexity, and that goes back to Santa Fe Institute was an attempt of trying to see if there was a way to mathematize, formularize, or algorithmically understand what the term complexity means. That goes back to the original question. Complex systems are complex by definition. But there's not necessarily, it's not one level of complexity. As we might say, well, our fingers are complex, the movements, the muscles of our hands. But it's not as complex as the blood system. Now I have a circulatory system. I have systems on top of systems. So that there's no one group of or person that really understands the way the body works. There's no one group that understands the way the financial systems work. You might understand U.S. bond market. Now you've asked about the trader, long-term capital. That was a bond fund, very small part of this very complex system. So the goal of the Santa Fe Institute was to see, is there a way to get in, somehow understand how complex systems interact? Fast forward, Steve, to today, where Google and these other engine companies, the other tech companies, are trying to build artificial intelligence. The strangest thing that they found, one of the strangest things, is that the systems that they design, this artificial intelligence, which a lot of people have heard about, is they design a bunch of systems. They're called neural nets. The term simply taken out of brain work, neurons in the brain. Nets because they actually look like a net. They put in some inputs. The computers work, spit out an answer. Sounds normal to you. It's because you're thinking about that calculator you had in 1976 on your desk. When you ask the person who designed the system, how did it come to that answer? How did your neural net, can you show me the calculations? They say, no, we don't know. We don't know how the thing we designed actually came up with that answer. That's pretty strange. They take the same neural net now, and they put it in front of a video game. No learning, nothing. They said, to the computer, they say, sit in front of your video game and learn how to play. It seems the computer learns better than any human in history, faster than any human in history, beats any human in history, but when you ask the designer how did it do it, no one knows. It just did it. So that's the first little touch of things that we already have gotten to a place where we don't understand it, and we built it.
On Sunday afternoon, September 14th, 2008, where were you?
Sorry?
It was the night they put Lehman Brothers in bankruptcy in London.
I was in jail.
Seriously?
Yes.
So the financial crisis of 2008 happened when you were in jail?
Yes.
Oh, this is going to be so amazing. This is going to be so amazing. I take it you didn't have your Wall Street Journal dropped off to you in the morning, your Financial Times?
No.
How did you hear about how did you hear about, because I want to,
I forgot about this, but yes.
I'm trying to get, this is going to be amazing. This is, let's go back and do that again. Sunday afternoon, because I want to find out about people, the geniuses understanding the complexity of the financial system. Because I think the best example we have is the financial crisis, the crash of 2008. Sunday afternoon, September 14th, I think it was, 2008, is when they were working feverishly in Midtown Manhattan at the Lehman Brothers offices and at various law firms around town, and with the Secretary of Treasury in the Federal Reserve, what they're going to do with Lehman. They decided they weren't going to save it. And so they prepared to put it into bankruptcy at the opening of the market in London the next day. How did you hear about what was going to happen to Lehman Brothers, and what did you immediately think when you heard that it was going to be put into bankruptcy?
I'm glad you asked that question. I was in solitary confinement September 14th. And again, some of the public stories about the wonderful time I had in jail and my work release, which didn't come till months after. I'd been there since June in an 8x10 cell with a bed in the back, a 6-foot bed in the back, a chrome sink with a toilet attached to it, and a little piece of metal sticking out that was supposed to act as a table. Now, since I was in jail, there were no books. Why? There's no library. No library, but you're in jail. No, I was in jail, not prison. So in jail, I was in a place what's called the Special Housing Unit, which is for the roughest, toughest, meanest people. They had put me there, they said, for my own protection. So I was in an 8x10 cell with a little slit in the door where they would serve my food on a tray about 9 inches by 4 inches. And then as soon as I finished eating, they'd take the tray and close it down. And one of the guards said, do you understand there's Wall Street's crashing. I'm worried about my pension fund. What should I do? And I said, sorry, Wall Street's crashing? What's happened? And he said, there's some crisis and some companies are going bankrupt.
Been a congressman for 20 years and was the 6th longest serving Speaker of the House in history. By the time FBI discovered that he was a serial child molester, the statute of limitations had run out on his actual crimes. But rather than giving him a sweetheart deal, the DOJ used financial technicalities to put him behind bars in 2015, convicting him for the way he structured his hush money payments to his victims. Political connections don't explain Epstein's sweetheart deal. There had to be something more. If political connections don't explain how Epstein remained untouchable, maybe we should look at his more hands-on approach to reputation management. One of the most famous stories about Epstein involves Vanity Fair editor-in-chief Graydon Carter. In 2003, while reporter Vicky Ward was working on a profile of Epstein and interviewing the Farmer sisters, who had first reported Epstein to the FBI in 1996, Epstein decided to take the editorial process into his own hands. Early one morning, Carter arrived at his office to find Epstein already there, standing alone in the reception area. Epstein reportedly spent that morning and many subsequent phone calls torturing and berating Carter, demanding that he publish nothing about Epstein's involvement with teenage girls. When the verbal abuse didn't work, the threats became more physical. A live bullet was left on Carter's doorstep in Manhattan, and shortly after, the severed head of a dead cat was found in the yard of his country home. While there was no evidence that this was done by Epstein, the message was apparently clear enough that Vanity Fair decided to scrub the abuse allegations from the final article. While this mob-style intimidation might have worked on a journalist, it's not reasonable to believe that it would have intimidated the FBI, who around the same time were busy conducting the largest mafia takedown in the agency's history. They rounded up
Obama and Michelle Obama. Put it up, full mass. Here we go. Trump posted an AI video of Barack and Michelle Obama as apes in a jungle with the song "The Lion Sleeps Tonight" in the background. And now remember, this is during Black History Month. The Obamas briefly and suddenly appear near the end of the short video, which promotes false claims that voting machines help steal the 2020 election with their faces superimposed onto the bodies of apes. As the images appear for about 1 second, the start of the song, "The Lion Sleeps Tonight," plays in the background. The longer version of the video, first published online in October by the same X account with this watermark. The video Trump shared cast the president as a lion while portraying prominent Democrats and liberals as animal characters from Disney's The Lion King. The longer video also depicts Hillary Clinton as a warthog and the New York mayor, Mondani, as a hyena. The White House does have a response, but I don't want this to get lost in the back and forth. Obviously, it's racist. Obviously, it's bigoted, okay? There's another point in this that goes to what just happened in Fulton County. Once again, they are starting the rhetoric of a stolen election again. They're starting the rhetoric. So this was the genesis of the post about stolen elections from 2020. They just raided the Fulton County voting hub and illegally took voter information that was currently under court review via a motion from the Department of Justice. And instead of waiting for their court review to give them clearance or no clearance in order to do this insanity, they decided to file a criminal warrant against Fulton County and utilize that as their auspices to then steal voter information with the DNI.
That is bad. Oh, don't play the phone clip, bro.
Hold on, bro. And this monkey's flying.
They got
they Timon and Pumbaa. Oh, this is like Lion King.
Yeah, the donkey.
She's an ass. This shit is crazy. Wow.
Oh, they got Joe. Joe monkey too.
Pause. Why is Joe Biden doing that to that banana, ladies and gentlemen? Justice for Joe Biden. I understand he's probably the worst president of all time. Nah, he can't be worse than Bush. Bush was pretty bad. No man deserves this type of embarrassment. Why they got this man doing the unthinkable to this banana? Like, he has family. You cannot do this to the former president. I understand he resigned. How are you going to resign in the middle of your term? But come on now, you got Kamala Harris as a turtle. Nobody else is doing anything suspect except for Joe Biden. Why is he doing that to that banana? Ladies and gentlemen. And is this racist? Because he has, and once again, Trump, he did not make this video. Do your homework. Don't listen to these content creators as if their word is law, or anyone of that matter. Do your own homework, research, and analysis, and break it down for yourself and determine the truth on your own research. But just to go by naysayers as if that is law, that's some crazy work. But back to Joe Biden, that's some crazy work. This man is doing the whoa. Let's move past this. We got to move past this, ladies and gentlemen.
They got Kamala as a turtle.
Bro, why did he eat the banana like that? Wow.
Oh, he alive.
He's the king of the jungle.
Oh, she a pig. Oh my goodness.
You know she lives in Houston? She lives in Houston?
Yeah. That's crazy.
Bruh.
Is that Harry?
That's Harry. We all know. She's a hippo. Trump didn't actually make the video, y'all, but he did drop it. He seen it. He seen it. Wow.
Politicians are just walking off thinking it's okay Tuesday and they want to go visit the Trump, they want to blame the Trump administration. We have Democrats blaming ICE. I'm tired.
trying to laugh with the bros.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your take on the situation of Trump reposting a racist video of the Obamas. Now, also let me know, is this clip of Obama on top of an ape, is that considered racist? I mean, is the sky blue? Is the grass green? I mean, come on now. If you really wanted to attack the Obamas, and once again, Trump didn't make this video, but they could have put them as snakes. I'm out of here. Make sure you guys subscribe to this platform. Also, like this video and hit the bell notification so you will be notified every single time I go live. And I'm going to leave with this. Take care of yourself, because if you don't, who is? All you have is yourself. At the end of the day, all you have is yourself. So take care of yourself, man. At the end of the day, once again, this is all a distraction. It's a distraction from the Epstein files, this gorilla. You know what I'm saying? It's just to take away your attention, the elephant in the room. These people are getting exposed, ladies and gentlemen. Doing the unthinkable behind closed doors. Crazy work. But what's done into darkness will always come into light. With that being said, keep your energy high. Whatever you're going through, I understand the world right now, there's a lot of chaos of ice, a lot of craziness. With that being said, you have to be at your all-time high in energy. Do not let these events take you so low to where you can't even function. Take a break if you need to. There's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, look at this woman that passed away, ladies and gentlemen. Even though this was self-inflicted, that's how the year started, if I'm not mistaken. If not late in the back end of 2025, I think it was in the beginning of 2026. So yeah, we are living in modern day Babylon. But also, with that being said, if you're able to wake up and the Most High gave you the opportunity to see another day, you are blessed. If you want to keep it a beam, because it doesn't matter who was in office, that politician is not going to pay your bills. Take care of what needs to be taken care of. Take care of yourself, most importantly. And at the end of the day, everything's going to play out. Let them fight amongst themselves. We got these Somalians committing fraud all over Minnesota, transporting millions upon millions of dollars. Meanwhile, you have Americans trying to put their life on the line for a Somalian. That's some crazy work. I'm out of here, man.